because you don't have the license to do that. And that's the wonderful thing about the beauty industry. And so I love being able to speak not just to future professionals and team members, but also to the parents who somehow trusted the instinct that their son or daughter had, saying, I want to enter the professional beauty industry. I want to thank the parents because of the investment that they have made in all of you for pursuing your passion. And as I shared with the students earlier, any great book will tell you to be successful, do what you love to do. And this is an industry absolutely filled with passion. And so I remember when we were planning to open up our very first Paul Mitchell school, and of course I'm having lots of meetings with John Paul, and we're planning the location and what it's going to look like, and the culture and the curriculum. And so I remember that very first meeting that I had with John Paul, and of course it's John Paul, so I'm kind of nervous having the meeting. We finished the meeting, and as I'm getting up to leave, John Paul says, hey, Lynn, before you go, is there anything that I can do for you? And I remember when he said that to me, I remember thinking to myself, gosh, shouldn't I be saying that to him? I mean, my gosh, he's the man. But he's asking me, gosh, is there anything that I can do for you? I'm like, no, John Paul, I'm good. Well, every single time that we had a meeting, whether it was in person or on the phone, John Paul would end every single meeting, hey, Lynn, before you go, is there anything that I can do for you? No, John Paul, I'm good. Well, after about a year of this, it finally occurred to me that maybe I should return the question. So we end the meeting and John Paul says, Lynn, anything I can do for you? No, John Paul, I'm good. But hey, John Paul, is there anything that I can do for you? And John Paul said, yes, there is. And I was like, okay, here it comes. I'm ready, John Paul. What is it? When what you can do for me, I want you to have a beautiful, incredible life. When are you having a beautiful, incredible life? Yeah, John Paul, I really am. And I'll tell you, it's not just because of the partnership that I have with John Paul. It's not just because of the culture of Paul Mitchell that absolutely started with John Paul and Paul over 40 years ago. It's also because of this incredible industry. I'm so proud to be in this industry. I'm so proud to be partners here in this wonderful location. Joe, congratulations what you and your team have put together. You guys give yourselves a hand because you know what that takes. I've been told that this is how your team and your future professionals dress every single day when they come to school, and I thought that was fabulous, so good for you. But I'm just so proud to be partners with this amazing man. Now, of course, he gets a lot of press, and he gets interviewed all the time. You turn on the TV, and there's John Paul, and people always want to know his opinion. Why? Because not only does he have that power, but he also has a really good heart. And I remember once asking John Paul, do all of your friends who are on that level, are they the way you are? And I talked to other people, they tell me, yeah, everybody knows what John Paul does and how he uses his money to make a difference on this planet, but most people really have no idea because he does it behind closed doors. They don't know the good that he does on this planet, and I'm just so honored that this is my partner. Please welcome to the stage, John Paul.
Thank you. I'll let you back. Hey, thank you guys. Let's take a look at something a little different in your life. I'll tell you a little story here that will tell you about different things. Back in the 60s, we had a saying, I'm older than you guys, okay? We had a saying that today is the first day of the rest of your life. So we hope that should be your attitude going to this fabulous school. I'll explain what the differences are. When we started the John Paul Mitchell Systems 43 years ago, the top companies in this industry were Zotos, Oline Curtis, Revlon, Jeramac, and a whole bunch of others. They're not here anymore. They're not here anymore. Is there Oline Curtis around? Haven't heard about it. They're the biggest. Zotos is very small right now. Revlon is big in retail, but very, very small in this industry. We're still here. We came to this industry to be here for hairstylists and future hairstylists, but it wasn't easy. For many of you, maybe your lives aren't easy. Some of the things you do aren't easy. It wasn't easy. We needed, and this is 1980, okay? $500,000 in 1980 is like $2 million today. We needed $500,000 to start John Paul Mitchell Systems. And we had everything lined up. My relationship was going very well. So I left what money I had, which was a few $1,000s, with my wife and my child and my daughter. And I left in the house and a newer car. And I took the used car and went down the hill with a couple $100 in my pocket. The money never came in. Zero. Paul Mitchell flew over from Hawaii. He was a little older than I was. And he was expecting something too. Zero came in. And then I got a hold of the gentleman that arranged it all later that night. And what happened? He said, JP, he changed his mind at the last minute. And here's why. We're going to compare that to today. Like today we have, oh my God, there's 4% unemployment, 5% unemployment. Inflation is pretty high now, 6-7%, which means whatever you paid $1 for last year now costs you $1.07. 1980, inflation in the United States of America, and 81, was 12.5%. Unemployment was 10.5%. If you could even get a loan, the lowest interest rate, the prime rate, was 17% interest. And we waited in line to get gasoline. Your parents and grandparents can verify that. Okay, it's going back in time. Worst time we could ever start in an industry that so many people are in with so many big money, and there we are, broke, no money. How did we do it? Number one, we realized that successful people will do all the things that unsuccessful people don't want to do. And we knew that. And then we knew also that if we have a goal here to do something, no matter what it is, we're going to learn how to do it. So we had 100,000 bottles on order. At least before the money came in, we arranged for 30 days to pay our bill. So we figured, okay, we're going to make this happen somehow. We got $700, Paul, let's make it happen. So I called up the bottle man and said, can I have a sample order of only 10,000 bottles? I didn't tell him we didn't have any money. I didn't lie. I just said, can I have a sample order? He goes, of course you can have a sample order. I called up the person that did the silk screen. We picked black and white because it was cheaper. Black and white was 2 cents a bottle, color was 7 cents, black and white. We didn't know we created the unisex line. And then I talked to the filler, same thing. You know, can you use a sample order with a bottle scanner? Everybody was yes, 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 yes. So we said, okay, now we had to go to the person that did the artwork to get the silk screener. He wanted $1,000. We were very honest. We don't have it. We have $700 between us, and I borrowed the money from my mother. One of my big mistakes was I didn't tell my mother what was going on. She said, well, why are you borrowing $350 from me, Johnny? You make plenty of money. I said, Mom, I'm starting a new business. You know, I'll pay you back in a month. I should have said, Mom, can I have a little room back? Will you feed me for a month or two? I'm broke and I left the whole my situation. I was too proud. I lived in my car. And I figured out a way to live off $2.50 a day. So I went to the artist and I said, hey, we were honest. We only have $700. Can we give you $300 or $400? And then we'll pay you as the business grows? And he said, no. He says, I will probably never get better than 300. You have 700? That's what I want for this artwork. We were dead in the water unless we had the artwork. Bought the artwork, gave all of our money, had a couple $100 in my pocket, that was it. Paul was on his last price too. Anyways, so we had it. So all of a sudden, bing, 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 bing. It took 2 weeks from the time I ordered the bottles to get the silk screener, get everything filled, and we're ready to go. Which meant in 2 more weeks, I had to pay the first bill. We had no money. So Paul went back to Hawaii, we shipped a bunch of product there, and I piled my cart full of our 3 products. Shampoo 1, shampoo 2, the conditioner. Later we had non-smoking lotion. And I went around door to door to door, salon to salon, to try and get business. We're an unknown company with an unknown product line and only 3 items at that time. Later it was called lotion. So we needed a distributor. What do we do? How do we think out of the bag? So I went and opened up a week, 12 salons. Smallest order was about $25, the biggest was about $137. And I went to a giant distributor, Paris Ace Beauty Supply. And I presented them with our products, and the gentleman I presented it to, Jim Henrietta, said, we are Ace Beauty Supply. We're the largest beauty supply house in Southern California. You want us to take on a product line with only 3 products, and no money for advertising, no promotion, no sales force? You don't even have an address. I said, yeah, we have a P.O. box. And he says, I can't do that. He says, you're a nice guy. I wish you all the good in the world. I said, I have a good reason why you should do it. He goes, well, tell me, what is it? I pulled out of my pocket the 12 orders I'd signed up. The top line on the check was blank. I put it right in front of him. I said, because those are your first 12 customers, I've already delivered you over those are your checks. And he laughed his head up and said, I've never seen a presentation like this. He says, okay, what do you want me to order? I said, $2,000? I mean, we were really in need, right? He goes, okay, you better show up and help us sell this. Okay, I will. I said, well, one more thing I've got to ask you. And this is thinking out of the box. Can you give me the money when I deliver the products? He said, no, we're Harrison's food supply. We don't pay our bills for 45 days. He says, no. I said, well, how about I give you a 5% discount? He goes, okay, but you better be here to remember my salespeople. I said, I will. Anyways, he was at our 25th anniversary, and he told the story to our distributors. He said, so JP walks out of my office, and 3 minutes later, my warehouse man is calling me and saying, hey, there's some guy back here stacking products on our delivery platform here and wants a check for $2,000. He said he was just in my office 3 minutes ago. Are you kidding? He gave us a check, we went at it. And we learned along the way what has to be done to become successful. And that's what I share with you. Successful people do all the things unsuccessful people don't want to do. An example, as students, you work on mannequins, you work on pictures, things of that nature, but then you have the opportunity to work on the floor with real customers. Now, some people may say, well, I'd rather just work on mannequins because I'm too shy, or I have trouble getting around people. But isn't that the industry you're going into? We have to deal with people all the time. So when you get to a school like this, we give you the opportunity. Instead of working, if you want to work on mannequins, you're not going to really get anywhere. You got to work on people. But God, I don't want to work on people. I'm shy. I want to get my license. I'll work into it slowly with friends. No. We teach you in these schools, for example, how to present to people. Okay, I'll give you an example. What is your name? Pardon? Penelope. Oh, great. Okay, Penelope, all right? Penelope is a customer that I want to work with, but I'm very shy and timid, so I have a hard time even looking at Penelope, right? But I want to look at her to get her attention. She gets mine. How do you overcome it if you're shy or feel uncomfortable around somebody to look them in the eye? Let me show you how to do it. Penelope, I just want you to look the way while I'm talking to you. Penelope, how are you doing here? Okay, am I looking you in the eye, Penelope? No, I'm not. I'm looking in between the eyes and at your eyebrows. First thing is this, if you have an uncomfortable feeling looking someone in the eye, just looking right between the eyes. It looks like you're looking them in the eye. Or you're at the eyebrows, it looks like you're looking them in the eye. The next thing you've got to do is, if I'm talking to Penelope and she looks away, I don't have her attention. If I look away, she realizes he's not paying any attention to me. How do you get somebody to look back at you if they're looking away while you're talking to them, like so many people do, or while they're somewhere? So I'm going to give an example. Penelope, I'm going to be talking to you. I want you to look away for maybe 3 or 4 seconds. Okay, Penelope, look away wherever you want, if you would want to. No, look away like 3 or 4 seconds. Okay? Try it. Okay, while I'm talking to you. So I want to tell you something very, very important. Look way longer. I want to tell you something very, very important, okay? Stop talking. The minute you stop talking, people look right back and people don't like to be stared at. Okay, so now you know how to look at someone in the eye, be happy, be smiling, okay? And know what your goal is. Your goal is to be able to go through school, work on enough customers. Whenever you have an opportunity to get on what they call the floor, do it. The more time you can have on the floor with real customers, not a mannequin that can't talk back to you or can't tell you the right thing, the more you can do that, I'm going to tell you, successful people do all the things unsuccessful people don't want to do. Don't pass up the opportunity. Don't go for a mannequin when you can actually be on that floor. Because in the time you're in the school, you have a chance to get out there and be a great professional. But the great professionals do the things that are necessary in order to be there. Now, many of you that go to school and those that maybe aren't in school, people you know, have problems in their life. We all have problems. And we all do things in life that we wish we wouldn't do. So sometimes you're studying at night and you can't sleep because, my God, I didn't finish this chapter. I should have really read that. I didn't know it well. or something's wrong in your family, or something's wrong in your personal life. And you stay up at night thinking about it and you can't go to sleep. Well, you're not going to really succeed if you can't sleep well or things are always bugging you on your mind. So here's a couple ways to totally clear your mind. And it happened to me. For the first several years with Paul Mitchell, I could barely sleep at night. Barely sleep at night because I couldn't pay the bills the next day. I was worried about this, I was worried about that. Then I found a way not to worry anymore. No matter what it is, if you can't sleep at night because something's on your mind, and it's usually on your mind over and over again, it could be because of a relationship, it could be because of something you did you wish you could do. You want to get it off your mind. Anything dealing with anger, hate, jealousy, or even regrets that you have. You got to get it off your mind. Because you cannot change yesterday's newspaper. You can't change it. It's already happened. So how do you get this off your mind? How do you go to sleep? Well, one way is this. In your life, forgive everyone that's ever done you wrong. But start by forgiving yourself. I'm a pretty good guy. There's some things I've done in my life that I would have changed and not done. I would have done it totally differently, okay? But there's nothing I can do about it. It's yesterday's newspaper. We're living today. First thing you got to do is forgive yourself. For all the things that, God, I wish I could do that. If I could have done this differently, look what would have happened, look what wouldn't have happened. You can't change it. It's already happened. So the first thing you do is forgive yourself. And you can do that privately to yourself. Hey, self, John Paul, I forgive you for really not doing what you should have done at the time. I just forgive you for whatever mistake or opportunity. I forgive you. Forgive yourself. And then go through your life. Who are you jealous of? Forgive yourself for being jealous. Who do you hate? Who did you wrong? Who are you angry at? Who do you want to get even with? These are all terrible things that bring you down. Terrible things that bring you down. Forgive them. Hey, Phil Campbell, I forgive you for punching me in the tummy when I was in junior high school. Okay? Matt, and I forgive you for dropping me in the 8th grade or 10th grade of high school. No matter what it is, forgive everybody in your own mind. Get it off your shoulders. And if later, just say to yourself, hey, that's yesterday's newspaper. There's nothing I can do about it at all. Okay? It's the past. You can't change yesterday's newspaper. Get out of my life and stop there anymore. And then you kind of move on from it. In other words, you unload all the baggage in your life. Now, for me, my baggage was a lot. I could pay the bills the next day. I had no money. What problems are there? How did I overcome that? Or how did I, no matter what I do, I would sleep at night? And I invented this thing. I'm sure a million people invented it before me, but I invented it for myself. And it was this. Get a piece of paper. And just get out of bed, get a pen, and write down what's bugging you, what bill you cannot pay. I cannot pay my bills, okay? My poor dog has to go to bed, I don't have any money. Just write it down. Sign it. Take that piece of paper and put it on your bathroom sink. You're going to end up there in the morning anyways, and read it. You go back to bed, you don't have to think about it anymore. It's on that piece of paper. It works. I did it, and it really, really works. In other words, in life, especially when you're in school like this and you're learning, and you really need all your time and attention, you want to be positive. You don't want to be around people that gossip. You don't want to be around people that swear at one another, use vulgarity. You don't want people that are loud and scream at you. You want to be calm, cool, collect in your personal life as well as in your business life. There was an actor named James Colbert, one of my dearest friends, Academy Award-winning actor. He died about 8 years ago, one of my best friends. But he told me a story that I want to share with you that best describes what's important in life and why you don't carry things around. He told me a story of 2 monks from Tibet. It was a very young monk and a more senior monk. And they're going on a pilgrimage to a monastery on top of a mountain. It was a 2-day pilgrimage. So the first day they're walking, and they're crossing this river about 50 feet wide that was about a foot deep, but the water was rushing quickly. And they noticed to the right was a young lady, and she was putting her foot in the water and took it back out again. She was afraid to go across. So the older senior monk went over there, picked her up, held her to his chest, walked her across, and put her on the other side. Well, they continued up the mountain, and that night they stopped at dinner. They made their own dinner, their own campfire. And during dinner, the young monk said to the senior monk, I've been carrying something with me all day long. I can't carry it any longer. I've got to ask you a question. Sure, young, what is it? We take vows not to touch a female. You picked up this lovely young lady,
held her to the chest, and walked her across the river and put her down. Why? The wise monk looked at the younger one and kind of shook his head and said the magic words. Wow, I left her at the river this morning, and you've been carrying her around all day long? Leave it at the river. If at any time during your studies you run across any word you don't understand, don't pretend you know what it means, but figure in the next paragraph you're going to know everything. Get a dictionary and look it up. Let's get a dictionary tour in the school. Look up every word, because whenever you run across a word you can't understand, you lose the whole meaning of the sentence and maybe even the entire chapter. One word. And if in your life, I'm a high school graduate, but I instruct people at universities, okay? But I look up, if I don't understand a word, I look it up. If you will look up every word you don't understand, even if it's 10 times in the dictionary for every paragraph, your IQ, your intelligence will jump 20% within 3 months. It's amazing what that does, knowing the meaning of words. And these are just some of the things to give you new basis, because today is the first day of the rest of your life. And on behalf of all of John Paul Mitchell Systems, we're in this industry for at least another 342 years. In 2004, a young student raised her hand in the audience and said to me, JP, everyone else has sold their company. You've never sold Paul Mitchell. You've been clean to your word. You'll keep it in the professional beauty industry where no matter what things change in distribution, money goes back to hairdressers. And you'll stay that way. But what if you die? Then what'll happen when someone takes over the company? So she was right. I found a 360-year trust. I have the majority of the company. I own more than 51% of John Paul Mitchell Systems. I put my entire ownership in that trust, which says that no matter if something happened to me, no one can ever take it out of the professional beauty industry or sell it. It's going to stay in the industry, somehow related to this industry, definitely. We're the only people who've ever done it. In other words, we are here for you 100%. We're here with love, we're here with peace, we're here with happiness. And when Win Clayman and I started this whole program with schools, we knew we could be an asset to every single student now and in the years to come. Thank you very much for believing in us. I'll turn it back over to Win Claywell. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, John Paul. So I'm going to wrap things up for this part, and you guys have